You wake up like any other morning, stretch your arms, sip your coffee, and carry on with your day. But something feels off lately. Not in your mind, not in your joints, but in that part of your body that used to respond without asking down there. It's not painful, it's not dramatic, it's just silent. And for many men over 60, that silence carries weight. It's the absence of a signal you once relied on. A signal that meant you were still fully alive inside your skin. As a penis surgeon, I've listened to thousands of men describe that exact feeling. They say, "I'm not sick, doc." But something's missing, and they're right, because often, what's missing isn't testosterone or desire, it's circulation, vitality, and the inner spark that keeps your system in sync. Most men never suspect that a simple vitamin deficiency could be the root cause. But a recent study from Tufts University found that when older men restored a specific B vitamin, many of them experienced a natural return of responsiveness, energy, and confidence without pills, hormones, or machines. If your body has gone quiet lately, stick with me. You may be one small step away from feeling like yourself again. Most men think it's normal. They notice things start to slow down, especially down there, and they assume it's just aging. But that assumption is only part of the story. Because what's really happening inside your body after 60 isn't just about years, it's about what those years have done to your blood vessels. Inside your body, a quiet shift takes place. The small blood vessels, especially the ones responsible for bringing blood to your lower urinary and reproductive areas, begin to lose flexibility. They don't expand as easily. They become more inflamed, and in some cases, slightly blocked. These are called microvessels, and they're incredibly sensitive to changes in your lifestyle, stress, nutrition, and time. When those vessels struggle, your body can no longer send blood quickly or efficiently to the places that need it most. And the first sign of that struggle is usually a fading response in your reflexes down there, even if the desire is still present. That's what makes this change so confusing. You still feel like yourself mentally. You still want to engage, but your body doesn't respond like it used to. I've seen this pattern play out in hundreds of patients. Men who eat well, stay active, and try to live clean but still lose that internal spark. And the reason isn't because they did anything wrong. It's because blood flow doesn't rely on effort alone. It relies on support. The kind of internal care that's often missing after decades of wear and tear. Here's where it gets hopeful. Because the blood vessels that serve down there are also the most responsive to recovery, if you know how to nourish them. With the right nutrients, the right rhythm, and consistent support, your body can begin to reawaken the circulation patterns that have slowly faded over time. And the first step, for many men, starts with addressing a simple yet essential deficiency, one that controls more than just your energy. It supports the entire internal highway that brings oxygen, hormone signals, and vitality to the places that matter most. So if you've been feeling disconnected lately, not from your mind, but from your body, there's more behind that signal than age, and you're not stuck with it. In the next part, I'll show you what this overlooked vitamin really is and why your body may be silently asking for it right now. When most men think of vitamins for health, they picture things like vitamin C for immunity or vitamin D for bones. But there's one vitamin that rarely gets mentioned in men's conversations. Vitamin B9, also known as folic acid. And for men over 60, this quiet nutrient may be the missing link between how you feel and how your body responds, especially down there. Folic acid plays a critical role in supporting your body's ability to repair cells, form healthy red blood cells, and deliver oxygen to tissues that need it. But where it really shines is in how it protects the lining of your blood vessels, especially the tiny, delicate ones that matter most for circulation and energy. As we age, these vessels face constant stress from poor nutrition, inflammation, and oxidative damage. Without proper support, they begin to narrow and stiffen, blocking the free flow of blood when it's needed most. Here's the surprising part. In clinical settings, doctors have found that men with low levels of folic acid often report poor responsiveness in their reflexes down there, even when everything else seems fine. Their hormone levels might be normal. Their physical exams may not reveal a clear problem. But something's still off, and that something is circulation. A deficiency in B9 doesn't just slow blood flow. It also raises levels of homocysteine, a natural compound that becomes harmful in excess. Elevated homocysteine roughens the inner walls of arteries, making them prone to damage, inflammation, and blockage. This is particularly dangerous in the smallest vessels, the very ones that serve your urinary and reproductive system. The good news is that folic acid helps lower homocysteine levels naturally, restoring smoother blood flow and reducing the silent damage that builds up over time. In fact, a study from Tufts University showed that older adults who corrected a folic acid deficiency experienced better cardiovascular health, clearer cognitive function, and more consistent energy, not just physically, but emotionally too. For men, this often translates to renewed confidence, stronger morning response, and a feeling of being plugged back into their body. I remember one patient, Mr. Allen, who was 71 when he came to see me. He was still active, still sharp, but told me he felt like he had lost his edge. No major health issues, just a slow dimming of something he couldn't explain. We ran a simple blood test and found his folic acid levels were far below optimal. Within 6 weeks of targeted supplementation, he returned with a different energy in his voice. "Doc," he said, "I feel like someone flipped a switch inside me. That switch isn't magic. It's biology reawakened by giving your body what it needs." Folic acid doesn't act like a stimulant. It doesn't force anything. It works quietly, healing the foundation, reconnecting systems, and restoring flow. For many men, that one small adjustment becomes the turning point, the moment where I don't feel like myself slowly becomes, I'm back. It doesn't matter how much testosterone you have. It doesn't matter how much you want to engage. If your blood vessels can't open at the right time, your body simply can't respond, especially down there. And at the center of that response is a silent molecule most men have never heard of: nitric oxide. Nitric oxide isn't a hormone. It's not a drug. It's a natural signaling gas that tells your blood vessels to relax and expand. That expansion is what allows blood to flow rapidly and fully into the areas that matter, particularly the soft tissues that govern your reflexes in moments of arousal. Without enough nitric oxide, those vessels stay tight, blood doesn't arrive, and the body remains silent. Here's where folic acid steps in again. This vitamin doesn't just protect your blood vessels, it also helps your body produce nitric oxide naturally, without side effects or artificial stimulation. Inside the inner lining of your arteries, folic acid supports an enzyme system that triggers nitric oxide release. And when that system works smoothly, so does your body. Think of nitric oxide as the green light in traffic. When the signal is strong, everything flows in the right direction. But if the signal is blocked or too weak, nothing moves. That's why so many men over 60 begin to feel disconnected. Not because they lack interest, but because their internal signals have grown quiet. Their nitric oxide pathways have faded with age, stress, and poor circulation. The difference between silence and response often comes down to whether or not your body can release this one small molecule at the right time. And folic acid, in many cases, is the missing ingredient that brings the switch back online. So if you've noticed that your mind is ready but your body isn't, the problem may not be psychological, it may be chemical, and the solution doesn't always require prescriptions. Sometimes, it starts with restoring the biological spark that helps you feel connected again, especially where it matters most. It might surprise you to learn that even if you eat well, take your multivitamins, and live a healthy lifestyle, your body may still be missing out on folic acid. That's because, as we age, our ability to absorb certain nutrients, especially B vitamins, naturally declines. What used to be a normal process of digestion and absorption in your 40s becomes less efficient in your 60s and beyond. Your stomach produces less acid with age, which means nutrients aren't broken down and absorbed the same way. Add to that common medications such as those for high blood pressure, acid reflux, or cholesterol, and you have a recipe for hidden deficiencies. Many of these drugs, while helpful in controlling symptoms, interfere with how your body takes in folic acid through the gut. So even if you're eating spinach, beans, or fortified cereals, you may not be getting the full benefit. That's why so many older adults who seem to be doing everything right still experience slow energy, weak circulation, or fading response down there. They aren't doing anything wrong, they're simply not absorbing what their body needs. In many of my male patients, I see signs of what I call quiet deficiency. There are no glaring symptoms at first, just a gradual shift, less mental clarity, less drive, and a slower physical rhythm that feels foreign. But this is where targeted support makes the difference. For most men over 60, I recommend a daily supplement of folic acid, typically between 400 and 800 micrograms, depending on individual needs. And for even better absorption, it helps to pair it with vitamin B12 and vitamin C, both of which assist in nutrient transport and cellular repair. Remember, this isn't about taking high doses or trying to fix everything overnight. It's about giving your body the raw materials it needs to restore its natural balance. Think of folic acid not as a miracle, but as a missing gear in your internal engine, one that allows the system to move the way it used to, especially in moments where confidence and connection matter most. So, if you've been doing all the right things but still feel something slipping, the answer might be in what's not being absorbed, not what's missing from your plate. Most men start this journey wanting just one thing to feel like themselves again down there, and that's understandable. When that quiet signal disappears, it affects how you see yourself, how you connect with your partner, and how confident you feel moving through the world. But here's the part most men don't expect when you restore the body's internal rhythm. The benefits ripple far beyond one area. Folic acid may start with circulation, but it doesn't stop there. It plays a key role in your brain, your hormones, and your overall energy metabolism. This one small vitamin supports the production of red blood cells, which carry oxygen not only to your muscles and heart, but also to your brain and reproductive system. That means more oxygen reaching your tissues, more clarity in your thoughts, and more vitality in your step. Inside your nervous system, folic acid helps produce neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers that influence mood, focus, and even desire. Low levels can leave you feeling foggy, unmotivated, or detached. But when levels return to normal, many men describe a shift not just in their physical state, but in their sense of direction, purpose, and emotional connection. I remember one patient, Robert, who told me after 2 months of consistent folic acid use that he didn't just feel more responsive in bed, he felt more himself throughout the day. He had energy again. Laughter returned to his conversations, and his wife noticed the change before he did. This kind of transformation doesn't come from stimulation. It comes from rebalancing the body at its foundation, supporting the systems that drive performance, clarity, and connection. And then there's hormone balance. While folic acid isn't a hormone, it helps protect the testes from oxidative stress and supports healthy hormone production. Think of it as a bodyguard at the gate, reducing internal damage so your system can produce what it's meant to. That means steadier testosterone levels, improved metabolic function, and stronger resilience against the physical shifts that come with aging. It's not about reversing time. It's about honoring your age while restoring the internal harmony that makes you feel alive in your own body. For many men, that begins with a single nutrient. But the effect spreads to your heart, your brain, your confidence, and the way your body communicates with itself. So while you may have started this journey focused on reviving one part of your life, what you'll discover is that folic acid has the power to restore something much deeper: your natural rhythm, your emotional spark, and your ability to fully show up in your own skin. The moment things begin to fade, most men believe they need something dramatic to turn it all around. A prescription, a procedure, a secret solution that only younger men seem to have access to. But that belief often leads to disappointment. Because the truth is far simpler. Your body isn't broken, it's under-supported. And that means revival doesn't require a miracle. It just takes a small, intentional decision, made consistently. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to become someone you were 20 years ago. What you need is to give your body the one thing it's quietly asking for: real support from within. That could be one small capsule of folic acid each morning. It could be adding leafy greens, lentils, or avocado to your lunch. It could be a 10-minute walk that signals to your system, I still care about this body, in my clinic. The men who get the best results aren't always the ones who do the most. They're the ones who do one thing, consistently, and allow that choice to build momentum. And folic acid is a perfect place to start. Because it doesn't force your body, it reminds it. It reminds your blood vessels how to open. It reminds your hormones how to stabilize. It reminds your brain what clarity feels like. And most importantly, it reminds you that this part of you down there and beyond is still very much alive. There comes a time when you stop searching for quick fixes and start listening to your body more closely. You begin to understand that real change doesn't come from chasing it. It comes from respecting what your body needs right now. And what it often needs, after 60, isn't more pressure, more performance, or more effort. It needs support, rhythm, and restoration. You may have felt disconnected lately. You may have wondered if that spark, that signal down there, is gone for good. But the truth is, your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply waiting for you to give it something to work with. Folic acid isn't a miracle pill. It's not about instant results or dramatic reactions. It's about supporting the biological foundation that makes everything else possible, from circulation and energy to mood, memory, and connection. I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s rediscover what it means to feel steady, alert, and responsive again, not because they forced it, but because they chose to nourish their systems from the inside out. If anything in this story sounded familiar, don't ignore it. Your body may be quieter now, but it still responds when given the right message. And that message starts with something as simple as a decision to care, to support, and to believe that the best version of you is still very much within reach.